Hello, folks. What is going on in Limpopo? This strange, bizarre, tragic situation in which two women who purportedly went to collect expired food meant to be fed to pigs on a private farm were shot and their bodies tossed into a pigsty. What's going on here? A horrific story, to say the least. Callous disregard for human life would appear to be the case. But what is going on legally in this case?
Welcome back once again. This is Chris Report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa.
Today's news, News 24, reports that advocate Jacobus Johannes Venter, who's defending Mr. Olivier, said, "My client made a written statement while in custody. It was made without his constitutional rights in mind. At no stage was Olivier afforded a chance to call his attorney. I only became aware of that statement this morning." Now, did the police speak to a client without affording him an opportunity to confer with defense counsel? Is this standard practice in South Africa? It certainly was or is the case in the Soviet Union and North Korea. Have the police, through their actions, actually jeopardized the potential conviction in this case? Does the statement get tossed out? Or is the fruit of the poison tree allowed as evidence in a trial? Now, he continued and said, "I would like to be granted a proper opportunity to consult with my client. I want to implore the court to allow me access to the docket." The statement. He said, "I'm fully aware that in usual circumstances, no one is automatically granted the right to a docket. I only want that statement. I don't know what is in the docket." Come again?
What you talking about, Willis?
So Mr. Fetter's saying it's normal practice to withhold evidence from defense counsels. That's what South African prosecutors can do. They can collect evidence and not present it. Now, this can't be true, can it? Man, this is starting to sound like a New York State Soviet-style kangaroo court where defense counsel is not permitted to defend Donald Trump. Oh, you can't present evidence to defend yourself. You can't have access to the evidence the government has collected against you. Really? Now, to be fair, folks, I have not been admitted to the bar in South Africa, and this is why I pose these questions rather than make claims. He continues, "Not only is it necessary, but it will give me a clear indication of how to assist the accused. It would put us in a position to properly advise our client about bail and trial. The accused were moved to a specific police station and were never consulted with. Had we been granted enough of a chance, we would have been robust." Now, prosecutor advocate Joel Mamabolo opposed the application. So the prosecutor opposes allowing the defense attorney to see the statement in which the accused purportedly implicated himself in a murder. How in God's green acre can an attorney defend someone if they can't see things from discovery? Wow. He said he opposed the application, saying they earlier refused to provide evidence with any statement or anything forming part of our evidential material. What is that? That sounds snarky and childish. I mean, maybe we're missing something here. Who is they? Is they the accused? They refuse to provide these statements, and so now you won't release the statement because they didn't provide it initially? So they're not entitled to defense? They're not entitled to not self-incriminate themselves? What kind of judicial system is this? He continued, the prosecutor, Mamabolo, "It is their fault not to consult at the holding cells, and they decide to consult today. The information given by Olivier is assisting the police." So the prosecutor's position is it's the attorney can't have the evidence. It's his job to go hunt it down. Well, that seems to be very much at odds with jurisprudence, folks, doesn't it? So what this comes across to me is that the prosecutor is saying that, well, we're not going to tell you what we have on your client. You'll just have to listen to it in court and then try to defend it there. What kind of nonsense is that? Wow. He said, "We're opposed to the statement being granted. They are facing 2 charges of premeditated murder, among other charges. The doctrine of common purpose applies in this matter." Facing 2 charges, not convicted. They haven't even been charged, have they? And they certainly haven't been convicted. So do they not have rights under South Africa's constitution? Now, the 3 of them were arrested last week following the discovery of the decomposed bodies of Maria Machato, 45, and Zimbabwe national Lucia Ndlovu, 34, in a pigsty on a farm in Limpopo on the 20th of August. On the 17th, Machato and Ndlovu apparently went to the farm to collect expired food dumped for the pigs where they were murdered. So they were trespassing and stealing. They were apparently shot They died and their bodies dumped in a pigsty, where apparently the pigs began to consume them. Miss Ndulovo's husband, Mabutu Nkube, survived it. He was also shot. There's going to be a bail hearing on September 10th, but in the meantime, they're remanded for a few more weeks. Now, folks, aside from the irrefutable evidence that these two women are dead, as well as the strong likelihood that they were murdered, this is a bizarre case to say the least. Why would authorities be so reckless with discovery, the rules of evidence? Also, why did the police get a statement of someone in custody without an attorney present? Now, I do have a correction to my previous story because I did get something factually incorrect, and maybe that's because I made a false assumption given the information available, and I retract and apologize for that. Based on the photograph of the three defendants sitting in the courtroom here, it would appear that we don't have a situation of two white South Africans and a black South African. It appears we have a colored farmer, a white farm worker, and a black farm manager. A veritable cornucopia, a rainbow coalition with a colored farmer and a black and white worker, not two whites. Anyway, folks, that's the story on this for now. Tragic loss, a horrific, callous treatment of human individuals, whoever killed them, whether it was these people or someone else. This is not acceptable behavior in a civilized world. And whoever is responsible, and if it's these people, they should be convicted of this crime and never see the light of day again. But in the meantime, before such conviction, before even criminal charges are filed, people are entitled to constitutional rights. And apparently the police, based on media reports, have little to no regard for South Africans' constitutional rights. Of course, we know that's true. We saw what happened during lockdown and the callous, illegal behavior of many police officers, the military, and the government in the mistreatment and maltreatment of South African citizens under the unconstitutional lockdown that was imposed upon them. And don't come back with, well, they have the no, they didn't have the ability to pull the crap they pulled against South Africans and charge people with crimes for committing no crime, for violating a policy, not a law. Anyway, the pigsty murders. This one's crazy, and we're going to hear more as it comes out. Thanks a lot, folks. Be sure to take care of yourselves. Cheers.